Well, let's review something. So the new game about Nickelodeon show The Legend of Korra, developed by Platnum, the guys that made great spectacle fighters like Bayonetta and others. I have to mention that first I'll talk about spoiler-free things, like mechanics, and then I'll get into the story. So, let's get on with it. In general, game opens up with a nice cartoon animation just like in the show, yet sound effects are lacking, but in-game sound effects are just fine, oddly enough. Still, you're thrown into the spirit world with all your skills maxed out. You know, just like in most games, just to give you a taste of what's coming. The story starts off with your bending blocked and one by one you have to unlock the skills. Frankly, the idea is typical to the genre and works out okay. I guess it's a good way to introduce you to fighting styles one at a time. But it could have been done a little bit faster because last element you only get at the latest stage of the game. It's just that I didn't feel the process was well made. Still, as for game mechanics, there were three types of gameplay: normal, pro bending, and endless runner with Naga. And this is the order from best to worst. And you know what? I did have fun with all of them. Even if the last one is annoying and on expert difficulty I wanted to gouge my eyes out while playing it. Anyhow, when I played this game, every aspect of the game felt very fluent and downright smooth. Through the entire gameplay with 3 playthroughs, I didn't encounter any bugs or glitches, which was the biggest surprise. I have to applaud developers for making such a solid piece of software. In comparison, the Battlefield or Call of Duty and other AAA titles look like cripples. There aren't many games as stable as this one, the very least you can count on that. Now, options menu for this game has almost nothing in it. Then again, do you really need anything else? Though key chart or key bindings are kinda necessary. As for difficulty for this game, I can't really say much about it, except that on normal I died quite a lot. I'm an FPS enthusiast, but now and then I do enjoy dipping my head into ice water bucket of different genres. Anyhow, normal did feel challenging and casual therefore feels like a little too easy. But once you have unlocked the extreme, you'll start biting your fingers on boss fights, which I didn't really like. I guess all spectacle fighters have these and there's no escape. But frankly I despise restarting over and over again just because I'm as resilient to attacks as a stick. Still, the best part about this game is definitely combat. The moves, effects, combos, all were exceptionally great. Though airbending is kinda OP. I did enjoy experimenting and using different elements as well as combos with them. While water was more range based, earth was more hard hitting and slow, fire was fast and fierce, and air was, as I said, OP due to its crowd control. Still, it felt a little weak at times when I had to face a boss. However, I did choose air to get rid of the minions and air to really screw boss's day. Basically, I love the combat in this game, though fighting tons of electric glove guys can be annoying. But there is a thing or two that I hate. One of them is human bender enemies, aka the triad guys. No, fighting with them is okay. I didn't like that they reuse the same guys but with different skins. I mean, they are unique characters in Legend of Korra, but this reuse made me not take them seriously at all. And the other thing that bugged me a lot was the Air Temple Island. There you go around smashing things like it's going out of style. And in multiple instances you hear this quote.
That was Kama's favorite.
Those are just for fun, I know, but still, they could have been avoided or replaced somehow. But of course, these are just nitpicks. And speaking of nitpicking, the item system in this game, for me, acted more like a little boost dispensary. Yet those boosts have saved me several times, so I can't say it's negligible. I kind of have a problem with the fact that once you die, those boosts you use don't return. But then again, those boosts are very cheap, so I guess I shouldn't complain. I guess the biggest gripe I have about the shop is that they shoehorned in Iroh. Maybe they should have just given a reason that the shop exists or like a little intro or something. Or maybe they could have made it that in Material World the shopkeep is the cabbage guy and in the Spirit World it's Iroh. Or maybe they could have made destructible cabbage carts all over the levels. Oh well, speaking of which, levels themselves seemed a little underdecorated or detailed, while completely opposite I can say about the characters. I guess the worst part about level design can be put on narrow platforms on the start of the game, but honestly they didn't make gameplay any more or less enjoyable. Even if some things looked a little bit off, overall artwork was very good. They portrayed the Republic City, North Pole and the Spirit World very well. As many have said it before, animations are very good. I really enjoyed seeing all four different bending styles, as well as how NPCs interacted with constant blows to the head. But what turned me off was facial movement, or animations in this case. To simply put it, they were equivalent to a brick. Basically, you won't see any facial movement change in any character. But if I had to sacrifice that for a good fighting animation, I would do it. Just keep in mind that this game had a small budget. And so there goes the spoiler-free part. So if you don't want the story or any other things spoiled, probably you should stop watching now. So anyways, the first thing off the bat about the story, you must know that it's short. It's extremely short and frankly very disappointing. But again, that is to be expected. I can tell you that even with multiple deaths, you can beat this in 4 hours on normal. Then of course you can play it again on expert just to get more items and that skin. But that aside, story itself starts off with some old guy that wants to take your chi and has already blocked it for the time being. And he also possesses some power that is not like bending. And so comes the real nonsensical part here. He has, of course, money and he has bought Equalist's help and Triad's help. I mean, sure they both don't like the Avatar, but come on, Equalists and Benders working together somehow doesn't mix. Anyhow, you just simply go around kicking ass and getting a little bit of answers here and there, and eventually you go to the spirit world where you meet the guy and learn who he is. So yeah, there you see, the story is definitely not the strongest part of this game at all. And you know, after first few cutscenes I realized that, and I just kept on playing just because I enjoyed kicking ass. And I have to say, game didn't disappoint me there. I only wish I had more enemies to beat up because I simply enjoyed the artwork and fighting so much. Now obviously when you finish the game, question arises. What to do now? Well, you can replay everything on extreme difficulty as well as wreck anything in casual, which I did, and after completing story 3 times and unlocking everything except vanity items, suddenly game felt empty and boring. Sad to say, but this game's potential of replay value is very small. I just hope that they will expand the game more in time, but I highly doubt it. Now, as for pro bending, this game mode just begs for multiplayer. But just like more story or levels to complete, it probably won't arrive. Anyhow, in itself, pro bending is a good fun event, though all attacks and fighting styles are the same. So it doesn't really matter which element you have, if you could change of course. Basically this game mode needs more variety to be truly interesting. As it is now, it's okay and enjoyable for a while, but just like story, once you have beaten everything, it becomes stale. So in conclusion, this game, even though made on budget, really looks well and almost has no bugs or glitches, making it one of the most stable games I have played in a while. Fighting is awesome and I want more, but of course enemy variety and thrown in characters from the series did feel a little bit bad. At this point they serve their purpose, and I am just nitpicking here. But of course the worst part about this game is the story, but frankly, if you don't go into that story too deep, you just simply can enjoy a good fight. So if you want to relax for a few hours and immerse yourself in this great world, this game will do it. For 15 bucks, this game is good fun, no drugs necessary, unlike the other AAA titles. For combat I give 9 out of 10, for artwork 6 out of 10, for story 3 out of 10, and overall it's 7 out of 10 in my opinion. So yes, I had a great few hours with this game. Even though replay value of this game is very small, it's still worth a try. Oh, and as the last thing, I really enjoyed the end sequence of the credits for this game. It was really heart-touching in a way. Anyways, this was my first review of any game, so tell me what you think, and most importantly, did you play this game and what did you think of it?